Alright, hi my magical creatures and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is I'm going to talk about the time the hottest guy that I wanted to date, that I wanted to be my boyfriend. He ended up being freaking weird and he gave me $100 for some feet pics or for a video of my feet for 10 minutes scrunching my toes on the carpet. So I'm gonna tell you guys this story time video and before we begin, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a free way to help your girl out. So let's get started. Okay, so let me guys tell you this crazy story time video. So I was working at Twin Peaks at the time. And for you guys that don't know what Twin Peaks is, it's basically like a little Hooters restaurant. The outfits are just more like skimpier, more revealing, and yeah, but it's still like it's considered a family restaurant or whatever. So I was working at Twin Peaks at the time and I was doing my little waitressing job or whatever. And one guy came in with I think it was a dad and then his son or whatever. And I remember I seen his son and I thought he was so cute. Like, oh my God, he was so good looking. He was so cute. I was talking to the dad and I was talking to the son. And, we were just all chopping it up. We were like talking, whatever, whoopie whoop. And I remember I just was like, oh, I want the son to be like my boyfriend. Like, he is so cute. Like, he is so good looking. Like, we would make a cute couple, like, whatever. So, basically we ended up so at the end, like me and the son, we ended up like exchanging phone numbers or whatever. And so I was just like waiting for him to like text me, call me. In my mind, I'm thinking like we finna go like do this, we finna do that, like all this stuff. And so basically he ends up like not texting me at all or anything. And at the time too, y'all, like I was still in the closet, so like no one knew my tea or anything like that. So I think he ends up like following me on Instagram, and then like he ends up just following me on Instagram, and like the guy never hits me up, never talks to me or anything like that. And so when I worked at Twin Peaks too, the guy, we're gonna call him Jason. Jason, he worked at the Cheesecake Factory too, and that was probably like 20 minutes like up the street or whatever. And he worked as like one of the cooks in the kitchen. And yeah, Cheesecake Factory. And so that's why I was telling him, I was like, oh my God, like you work at a restaurant too. Oh my God, like that's crazy. Like we're totally meant to be like, so basically after that, time has spent, like I didn't really like hear from him or talk to him or anything like that. So basically me and him, we end up like going like our own separate ways. So I ended up like, it was like probably like a couple months later, like I ended up getting my bottom surgery or whatever. And so after I got the bottom surgery or whatever, a week later, that's when like the pandemic hit. Like COVID had just happened. Like, I mean, everything was on lockdown. Like the world was in panic. Like thought it was the end of the world. Like I just thought I was never gonna talk to Jason or see Jason ever again. Like I thought we were gonna be no electricity. Like just thought it was the end of the world, you guys. You know what I mean? So basically after that, I think it was like a week later after the pandemic had hit, because I think San Francisco was the first city to kind of in the United States to like shut down completely, and then eventually it just spread it throughout the United States. So oh yeah, and then the toilet paper, there was like no toilet paper, like toilet paper was just all gone, like it was just crazy. So um and it just sucked because I remember I was a week post-op and like I needed like was relying on toilet paper like because I was bleeding heavily, So like just in case if I needed to wipe something or whatever, like I used toilet paper, and now I was like toilet paper was like a sacred like item to have like at the time. So I was just like, oh my God. So but luckily my mom was able to get me toilet paper when she was in Georgia at the time, and so she just sent it, and then I was like, oh, thank you, Mom. So, but what was I gonna say? So yeah, so I ended up, so a week later went by. So I remember I had so much time on my hands, y'all. I was posting stuff on Instagram. I was just posting a lot of stuff on Instagram, and I remember at the time, that's when OnlyFans like was just being talked about. I'm talking about like OnlyFans was just being talked about. Like it was not what it is today. Like it was just being talked about or whatever. So I had made like so I was, I had my hair and makeup done because I did it out of boredom. And I remember taking like some cute, sexy pictures in my room. And I remember just posting things like, oh, like click the link in my bio, like OnlyFans. I was just playing, y'all. I was just playing at the time. I was not even serious. I was not even gonna do none of that. So when I did that, the guy, Jason from Twin Peaks, he basically hit me up in the message on DM, and I was like, oh my God, finally, like my future boyfriend, baby daddy is like hitting me up. Like, oh my God, haven't heard from him in like 2 months. Like, oh my God. So he hits me up and um, he's like, hey, like, I'm trying to remember what he said. He said, "Hey, like, you're doing OnlyFans, right?" And I said, "No." I said, it was just a joke. Like because I posted like some hot pictures on my stories, and I was all like, "Join my OnlyFans, like link in the bio," and then I put like JK in the next line. So I said, "Hey, I was just joking, like whatever." He was all like, "Oh, really? Well, I wanted to ask you if you could do me like a favor, And I was all like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, and y'all, and by the way, like, I didn't have a job at this time. Like, I wasn't even on like no welfare or anything like that because, I was still healing from my surgeries. So I couldn't work either way. So, I think I was on disability at the time. So, what was I gonna say? So he basically was like, "Hey, did you want to make some money?" And I'm like, "Okay, period." So, he basically asked me to basically, he's like, "It's weird, but like, I'll give you $100 or whatever if you do it." And I was like, What do you want me to do?" And so he's like, it's kind of weird, like, please don't tell anyone. And I was like, I won't tell anyone. Like, what do you I ain't telling no one now. At the time I wasn't gonna tell no one, but oh well, like I'm telling now. So he's like, please don't tell anyone, like it's super weird. And I was like, okay, so like what are you talking about? Because like this guy is talking in riddles, like he's talking in code. I mean, I'm like, what do you want? Just say what you want. So he basically was like, I was wondering if you can like send me pictures of your feet. I was like, pictures of my feet. Like, I'm thinking y'all, this was a joke. Like, I'm like, this has to be a joke. And by the way, y'all, he didn't know my tea or anything like that. So, because I was not out at the time, I was like in the closet, everything like that. I'm like 1 week post op, and like this fool said he wants to send me $100 to see pictures of my feet. I'm like, what the hell? And it was like this guy was cute. He was so fine, y'all. Like I want him to be my boyfriend. Y'all, I ain't never been so turned off in my life, like at all. Like I was hoping he was gonna take me out to eat, like whatever. No. And so you guys also like I've always heard about people having like foot fetishes and girls making like hundreds and thousands of dollars for just sticking their feet in peanut butter and then like sending pictures of it, stuff like that. I've seen stuff like I've heard of stuff like that, but like I never thought in a million years like some guy was gonna ask me for like, I'm thinking that was like a myth or something, or like girls be over exaggerating, like, yeah, he'd be paying me thousands of dollars to see pictures of my feet or whatever. And y'all, I have pretty feet. So I'm just kind of like, I thought it was a joke at first, but then he was all like, no, like seriously, I'll give you $50 right now. And then when you send me the pictures, when you send me the picture, I'll give you the other half. And he was like, do you have Cash App? And I was all like, so I heard he made a Cash App account, and I was like, yeah, here's my Cash App. And then sure enough, y'all, he sent me the $50. I was like, what? So I ended up so he said, okay, instead of the pictures, can you make a video of your feet? And I was like, and I said, oh, I don't know about that. Because I was like, I don't want my face in that and none of that. So he said, so I said, so you want my face in the video too? And then he said, no, I just want your feet in the video, just your feet. I was like, what? So y'all, I had to put my feet on the ground, and then I said, is there like a certain preference? Because y'all, he paid me $100 for this 10-minute video of just scrunching my toes in the carpet or whatever, y'all. So I was like, okay, was there like a nail polish preference that you want? I mean, I said my toes are, yeah, and he asked me, y'all, he was all like, what color are your toenails? I said, silver. He was like, that's perfect. I was like, okay. So y'all, I'm in my room. I have my feet. He said, I know it's weird, but trust me, like, can you just do this? And I'm like, okay, yeah. I was like, whatever. So I angled the phone, y'all. I had the phone like on a table and then my feet was on the ground. So I had the phone like on the edge of the table with the camera facing down on the floor, just my feet in the carpet. And so, y'all, for 10 minutes, I'm just sitting here scrunching my toes in the carpet, y'all. Like, just scrunching my toes in the carpet. And I remember just sitting there because, y'all, I was bored too for 10 minutes. Like, I think I was like counting in Spanish. I was all like, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. Like, I was just counting in Spanish. And I would remember that's like how I was trying to get the time to go by fast, like just practicing my Spanish or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh. So luckily, you guys, 10 minutes had passed and the video was just perfect. It was just me like scrunching my feet in the carpet. And my face wasn't in it or anything like that. So I was like, okay, this can't come back to like hurt me in the future or anything like that. So I sent him the video, you guys, and after that, I've never heard from him ever again. We ended up unfollowing each other off of social on Instagram. I think I ended up blocking his number. You guys, like I've never, it was just the most creepiest, most weirdest thing ever, but that was the most easiest $100 I have ever made, you guys. And it is very real. There are people out there with feet fetishes, and I'm pretty sure I believe those girls that said they were making six figures from selling feet pics and all that. I believe it. So, but after that, yeah, I never heard from him again. Yeah, Jason, if you're watching this, not interested anymore. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like discriminate or like be mean or to people with feet fetishes, but I just thought to me it was taboo and it was just weird, like how it's like kind of taboo and weird for a guy that never been with a trans woman and it'd be like, oh my god, that's like crazy, like it used to be a guy, like that's crazy. So I mean, yeah, to each their own, I guess. So definitely that was a crazy story time of how I made $100 during the pandemic from selling a feet video or whatever. So if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, a like, and don't forget to subscribe and comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay magical.